So, we're back for day 7 of the Legacy Marathon, and the first deck we've spun on the wheel is Reanimator. Expect to see a lot of combo decks going forward from this point. So, Reanimator, I think everyone's probably familiar with this, but just in case, you are attempting to put a giant bomb creature in the graveyard and then reanimate it as early as possible. So our bomb creatures are Atraxa, Gristlebrand, and Archon of Cruelty, which we can put in the graveyard, usually via Entomb. Although sometimes we can Thoughtseize ourselves to put it in the graveyard, and we can also Faithless Looting it into the graveyard. We then get them back out of the graveyard via either Reanimate, Exhume, or Animate Dead, and then that's usually enough to win the game on its own. We also have Grief and Unmask, which we can use to strip our opponent's answers out of their hands, so we can use these to take Force of Will or Swords to Plowshares ahead of time so that we can get our reanimation plan going. Also, Grief cannot target yourself. Grief can only target your opponent, but Unmask can target you, so you can unmask yourself to discard. We also are extremely light on lands with only 13 plus 2 trolls to Swamp Cycle. Sometimes we can also Grief our opponent and then reanimate the Grief, or cycle the troll and reanimate the troll, but most of the time we're trying to get one of these big boys into play. And then we've also got Lotus Petal and Dark Ritual as ways to speed up or cast multiple spells in the same turn. So if we need to, for example, Thoughtseize our opponent before going off, we can go land, Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize them, then cast Entomb, Reanimate, right? So those are the main things. Our land base is strictly black and red, although with one Underground Sea here for sideboard cards, which we'll get to in a bit. Basically just because we only are casting black cards and then red for Faithless Looting. So in the sideboard, Serenity to deal with the Artifact Enchantment decks. We also do need to deal with opposing graveyard decks ourselves, so that's where all these black cards come in: Surgical, Dauthi Voidwalker, Fairy Macabre. Iona is for, I believe, mostly combo decks, because there are decks where reanimating one of these bombs is not actually good enough to beat them. For example, if we're facing Storm, then just getting one of these guys out is not good enough. They could still just storm off and win the game, so we do need a bomb that can actually just straight up lock the game up. Wear Tear also for the Artifact Enchantment deck, so we can group these together. And then lastly, Show and Tell, because obviously our opponents are going to bring in Graveyard Hate in order to beat us. And there's two ways around that. One is to play cards like Dauthi Voidwalker as just other threats that we can deploy. But the other one is to use Show and Tell, which sidesteps needing the graveyard and still puts one of these big bombs into play. Anyway, that is Reanimator, so let's jump into the first league of the day. All right, round 1, we're on the draw, and this hand is pretty good. We've got turn 1, Land, Dark Ritual, Entomb, and then a Reanimate spell. So as long as our opponent does not have interaction, then this is a turn 1 Reanimate, so we'll keep. Tapped Shatter Skull Smashing, so that's usually Boros Initiative or Mono Red Prison, so I think we should be good. All right, so let's go Badlands, Lotus Petal, and then Dark Ritual. Then we'll cast Entomb. And I'm not sure which card is the best thing to get here. It's probably Gristlebrand. Yeah, let's grab Gristlebrand. Then we can go Exhume, get Gristlebrand out. All right, so they've just conceded to that. So sideboard, I assume we're playing against either Boros Initiative or Mono Red Prison, which means what do I need? So we need to beat what? Potentially Blood Moon, Trinisphere. Obviously, they're going to bring in Graveyard Hate. So it all depends on what they bring in. If it's Leyline of the Void, then we need Serenity / Wear Tear. If it's Fairy Macabre, we can't really answer that. So it's probably correct just to pivot to the Show and Tell plan. And let's see. We can cut some amount of reanimation spells. So maybe Animate Dead is probably the worst one. What else? So I know Reanimate you can trim one-ofs on certain things, but I think in this case, since we're pivoting to Show and Tell, we probably just change this. It also entirely depends on whether our opponent is on Mono Red or Boros Initiative, how good Iona is, although Iona is probably still good regardless of which deck it is. If it's red, we can just name red. If it's Initiative, we name white, but all of these are good. Let's bring in Iona and cut one of our Gristlebrand's. Let's just cut all the Animate Deads and try this. All right, so let's see. We've got multiple Unmasks, but no Reanimation spell, no Show and Tell. So I think this hand's a mull. Faithless Looting, but no black source, but no red source rather. And This is also pretty weak. So if I ever get to my second land, I can exhume something, maybe. It depends. I think going down any further than this is probably pretty bad. I don't know. We probably mulligan fairly well. We are Reanimator. All right, let's mulligan. Okay, so we have to keep this hand, and what am I throwing back? Badlands, Ritual, Troll Cycle, Reanimate the Troll. We're also on the draw. I could Reanimate Grief as well. I can't actually get anything into the graveyard on turn 1 unless I Thoughtseize myself, or I can just cycle the Troll. I have to put 2 cards back, so that's a Thoughtseize and probably Faithless Looting. And then my hand is turn 1, land, evoke Grief and reanimate it, or cycle the Troll, or Ritual Cycle Troll, one or the other. All right. And then if our opponent Trinispheres us or whatever on turn 1, then yeah. Ancient Tomb, Chalice of the Void for 1. All right, that's pretty rough. Ooh, we drew Exhume. All right, so I can't Ritual right now, but I can Troll Cycle for... Yeah, I can Troll Cycle for another land and then get it back next turn. I probably should Grief my opponent as well, which means I should Grief my opponent to take whatever their follow-up is. So cast Grief, exiling Dark Ritual, and then resolve this. So what are they on, first of all? Oh, they're Goblins. Okay, so I have to take Fairy Macabre because I can't win otherwise. They're just going to go Spirit Guide Matron. So take Fairy Macabre, then Grief dies, and then we're just going to Troll Cycle and Exhume probably the Troll next turn. Depends on what happens. All right, so Spirit Guide, casting Matron. What are they going to fetch? They can't fetch another Fairy Macabre, so I don't need to respond to this in any way. Fetches the Sticker Goblin to potentially hit Muxus next turn. Okay, so let's Swamp Cycle the Troll and grab the Underground Sea in case we draw Show and Tell later. And we just drew Show and Tell. All right. So I have to Exhume, and I have to put probably... So they get their Fairy Macabre back, and then I can't take the risk that... Although... So they have one card I don't know about. If I take the Troll, that's a 3-turn clock. But then if they Sticker Goblin and hit 6 mana, they Muxus, and we just lose the game. So I'm pretty sure I just Exhume Grief back into play and take the Sticker Goblin. All right, so Exhume, take Grief. Opponent brings back Fairy Macabre, trigger Grief. Another Goblin Matron. Okay, so now it doesn't matter because they can just Matron for Sticker Goblin again. So I should just take the Sticker Goblin because it makes them take the longest amount of time to get to Muxus. All right, so take the Sticker Goblin and then over to them. Although Show and Tell is really horrible with Muxus. Maybe I should just take Muxus. I don't know. Go to combat, swing with the Fairy. They are at less life than us, so we do win the race. Second Ancient Tomb. All right, land, go to combat, swing with Grief. Swings with both of these. All right, so we're just racing now. Gotcha. Back to us. Unmask. All right, cast Unmask, target you, exile, reanimate. They drew another Sticker Goblin. All right, so let's take Muxus so that if we draw a Show and Tell target, they can't put Muxus into play. Go to combat, swing. I'm surprised they're not just holding these back to double block. Like, we're going to win this race. Another Exhume, which I can't use now because Muxus is in the yard. So go to combat, swing. They're still attacking us. I'm just like, okay, sure. We go to 9. Are they just getting us as low as possible so we can't use, like, Gristlebrand, I guess? Go to combat, swing. They have 2 unknown cards, none of which are red sources. Am I supposed to unmask now or later? I assume they'll stop attacking me and go to blocks, at which point my best move is to Show and Tell in a big threat, which means I should hold off on using Unmask until the turn that I draw a big thing so I can take whatever they have first in case they haven't drawn it yet. Okay, so let's just pass. All right, they finally found a red source, although in order to cast anything, they have to take another 2 off Ancient Tomb. Well, there's the Sticker Goblin. How much mana will it make? 5. Casts Battlecry Goblin. Oh no, are we just dead? I guess I was supposed to unmask last turn. Yep. I wanted to delay using it for 1 turn in case we Show and Tell, but nope. All right, so I need Wear Tear for Chalice of the Void. What else? Animate Dead is possibly better than Exhume because we can take like big stuff from them. What else? We didn't see any graveyard hate from them, but that doesn't mean they don't have it. Show and Tell is way worse when they have Muxus in their deck and they can Matron for it. All right, let's do that. No Reanimator target. I can Thoughtseize them and reanimate something, but then... All right. I also have Faithless Looting to dig for more cards, so this is keepable, I think. I have a potential to turn 1 Reanimate depending on what I'm looting into, so the only question is, am I popping Lotus Petal immediately to go looting plus Thoughtseize in the same turn? And I probably am. I probably want to Thoughtseize first so that I can take Fairy Macabre out of their hand. Yeah, so let's Thoughtseize. All right, they do have a Fairy Macabre in hand. They also have no red source. They just have one City of Traders and no red source. All right, well, we'll take Fairy Macabre. And then let's cast Lotus Petal. And then I'm apparently under 0 pressure to actually do anything here. So let's just pass to them. City of Traders. All right, I can cycle the Troll and Animate Dead on it, which is a 4-turn clock. That's not great. Let's just looting. And then I can still put it in the graveyard. All right, well, I didn't draw a dick, so I'm going to do that instead. So put the Troll in the yard, put one of the fetch lands in the yard, and now we're just going to go land, another Lotus Petal, get this through Chalice of the Void, Animate Dead on Troll. All right, over to them. They kept a hand that just had Fairy Macabre and no ability to actually cast anything, with the one land in their hand being City of Traders, so that if they even find a red source, all right, Simian Spirit Guide, they're just going to try to go ham off the Sticker Goblin. No, they're playing Fable. All right, now we drew into him. All right, so they can even Suicide Attack this into the Troll just to get a treasure token, and then Sticker Goblin next turn and potentially hit Muxus. So I need to flashback looting. What 2 cards do I want to draw here? Just anything that like takes the Sticker Goblin out of their hand, basically. Or Dark Ritual plus a Reanimate spell would also work. But I'm going to have to play the land regardless. So let's go fetch Underground Sea. And then let's flashback looting. There's a Reanimate spell. Darn. I guess I wasn't supposed to play the land first. Yeah, I should have set up for next turn. So that's this one. And I have more Reanimate spells than I do Entombs. So I should get rid of Animate Dead here. Yikes, what do I do? I think it's better to just block this Shaman token so they can't keep generating red mana. I'm not going to beat them before they can beat me. So let's just pass. Because they have to attack with this to get red if they don't find a land. Fable. Yeah, that was all. I bungled that playing the land first. I was thinking through the lines of like what I could draw that I would need to discard. And I kept thinking like, well, if I draw Ritual, then I need to play this land anyway. But yeah, I obviously miscalculated that. So they discarded War Chief and one of the 2 Muxus. So yeah, they can attack, make a treasure, then we block them. Then they play Sticker Goblin. And if they hit the 6 mana, then they play Muxus and we probably die. They also just get to flip their Fable, and then they can start animating stuff. All right, float, plays a mountain. There's the Sticker Goblin. I'm surprised they wouldn't attack first in case they make 5. Yeah, so they made 5. They should have attacked first to get the treasure, because then they would have been able to play Muxus. I guess unless they have a second Sticker Goblin. Skirk Prospector. Oh, okay, so they can skirk 2 of their guys away and then play Muxus. All right, so we have to hope they somehow brick on Muxus. They hit just Battlecry Goblin. Okay. That is still better than what we have on the board. We can't even block Muxus, right? It becomes a 6/6. All right, so we pretty much have to draw a Reanimation spell right now. Oh, there's Gristlebrand. All right, back to them. I guess we just hold off these things. So Reflection flips over. This becomes a... Oh, they're just going to attack with everything? All right. And then they can... I'm going to block Battlecry Goblin, and then how much damage do I take here? So if I block Battlecry Goblin, they can sack it and Reflection to pump the team, and then I'm taking... 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so I can still just block Battlecry Goblin. Oh, they just sack itself, right? Not also Reflection. But we still take 13 damage. Okay. Maybe I was supposed to Entomb for Faithless Looting last turn and flash it back to put Gristlebrand in the yard and potentially find something else. They didn't use the Battlecry Goblin ability. Second main, Chalice of the Void X is 1. Well, I guess I'm entombing now. I can't actually flashback Faithless Looting from the yard if I get that. So what is the best reanimation target hit on this board? It's probably Atraxa. Atraxa gets us a bunch of more cards and has lifelink and can block the Muxus. Now, let's put Atraxa in there. Then Chalice. So we have to draw Show and Tell or a 2-mana reanimation spell. Well, that's a 1-mana reanimation spell. So back to them. So now they can actually just attack with everything because I'm forced to chump Muxus. Sack the Reflection. Sack Skirk. Play Name Sticker Goblin, generate 5 mana, plays Battlecry Goblin, and now we're dead. Right? Even if I block Muxus, I take lethal? Yep. All right. Well, sorry guys, I obviously punted that game. Hopefully we do better in round 2. I punted that game when I played the land before looting. I should have just looted, and then I could have kept Entomb plus Animate Dead in my hand, and then we would have won. All right, we are on the play for round 2. Let's see. We have a bunch of Reanimate spells, but no... Entomb or other way of putting anything but the Troll in the yard. Although sometimes Troll in the yard alone is good enough. So I think I can keep this, especially on the play. So I'm going to keep, and then I'm just going to cycle Troll and then bring it back. All right, let's play land, and then let's go fetch a swamp. Play around Stifle, play around Wasteland. Cavern of Souls, naming Goblin. Oh, 2 Goblin decks back to back, eh? All right. Skirk Prospector. All right, Swamp Cycle the Troll. Grab a Badlands. Ooh, and Grief. All right, I have to exhume before griefing them because I'm probably taking a creature. So, although I could just grief twice. Griefing twice seems pretty good, since the troll is, again, not actually, like, that fast of a kill. So play Badlands. Let's cast Grief and Exile Exhume. Triggers. All right, so Muxus and Namesticker Goblin are the only payoffs in their hand, so let's just take both of those. So Namesticker Goblin, Grief dies, and then Animate Dead on Grief. Get it back, and take Muxus, and pass to them. And now we have a lot more time to win with the troll or anything else. Another Cavern, name Goblin, plays another Skirk. All right, well, Entomb is a fantastic draw, so we're probably just going to win now. Go fetch another Badlands. Let's Entomb, and what's the best move here? Probably Archon. Yeah, so put Archon in the yard, Animate Dead on Archon, trigger, get the Archon trigger. They have to lose a Skirk and discard, and then combat, attack with Grief. And I'm pretty sure this is locked up here. City of Traders, but they don't have a way out of this, so... All right, go to combat. Swing with both. Archon triggers again. And then they're taking a bunch of damage. And have no cards in their hand. I don't know how they're going to try to get out of this. All right, let's just pass to them. Yeah. All right. So, Wear Tear in. Show and Tell in. I need to... and Iona in. I need to change up what I'm doing here with the plan. Let's cut an Archon. Let's cut a Gristlebrand. Let's cut the Exhumes. So we have Chalice of the Void to contend with, and potentially Leyline and Very Macabre. Yeah, maybe Show and Tell is just actually not a good plan against the Muxus deck, even though they bring in Graveyard Hate. The problem is, like, whatever we Show and Tell in can potentially still just lose on the spot to Muxus. Yeah, let's try that. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can generate 6 mana, but we can't actually reanimate anything or play Archon. All right, mull this. Okay, this is interesting. Well, we've got double Grief or reanimate some other thing. We can also Grief through an opponent's thing, although it leaves us with no cards. So let's get rid of the troll because... All right, what am I doing exactly? I'm definitely griefing them, and then I'm playing Lotus Petal and reanimating Grief, and then I have no mana left, right? I go Grief you, take your Graveyard Hate or pay off or whatever, Lotus Petal, reanimate Grief, take your other card, and then I'm just kind of dead in the water? Or do I go Lotus Petal, Troll, cycle for a land, do the same thing next turn? So maybe I don't want Thoughtseize. All right, so get rid of that. Well, there's Leyline of the Void immediately, so now we're in a far worse position. Chrome Mox exiles Runevelt. Shatterskull Smashing plays another Runevelt. All right, well, ooh, okay, Swamp's a great draw. So Swamp, Petal. What's the plan here? It's probably Grief a creature out of their hand and reanimate it. So Entomb's a dead card right now until I find an answer to Leyline. So it's Grief, exile Entomb, triggers, Goblin Warchief. Well, that's not exactly a great card. I take Smashing, they don't have another land, although they could just play one, and then they just Warchief, start beating us down. I don't think I'm going to take them off lands long enough for that to matter. I can also Grief again, but then I'm basically left with nothing. So, all right, let's put Warchief in the yard. Then Grief gets exiled, and then I'm probably cycling the Troll for Badlands, and then I just can't imagine that reanimating a 2/2 is going to be relevant. We also take 3 even to reanimate it in the first place. Yeah, let's just pass to them. Let's just pass to them, then Troll cycle for a land. All right, take 1 off the Runevelt, go to 19. Second Shatterskull tapped. All right, cycle the Troll, grab a Badlands, untap. All right, well, I may actually be able to get to the point where I can just hard cast this Grief next turn, so let's just pass back to them. Ancient Tomb, take 1 from Runevelt. All right, Delta, fetch. I have no reason to grab Underground Sea, right? Maybe I do with the Lotus Petal. I'm missing 2 colors for a track, so that's not going to happen. Let's just grab another Badlands in case they have Wasteland or something. Cast another Lotus Petal. Let's Grief them. Simian Spirit Guide. All right, steal that. I still don't want to really reanimate anything here, so just over to them. Cast Pashalik Mons. That's kind of rough. So they win the race if I start attacking them, but if I don't start attacking them, they can, sack this thing. Even if this thing just attacks Grief, then I block, then we trade. And they can also just start paying mana. It's not worth it to reanimate either of these creatures. I guess I just passed the turn. Played another Ancient Tomb. Obviously, I will snap block Pashalik if I can attack with it. All right, no attacks. Another Dark Ritual. Well, we can cast any of our big Reanimator creatures if we draw them, other than Atraxa. So we can cast Gristlebrand or Archon if we draw it. All right, pass back to them. Will they sack the Runed Velt to Pashalik? No. Name Sticker Goblin, make a bunch of mana. That I assume they'll sack. Yeah, sack that. Pashalik trigger, Runed Velt trigger. The exiled Skirk Prospector. Fantastic. Oh, so Skirk, they can just play Skirk, sack these guys, kill Grief. Oh yeah, Runed Velt's also making all these guys huge, right? Sack that, kill the Grief off, exiled City of Traders, and now we're just taking a boatload of damage. So we need to draw something really good really quickly. That is not something really good. And we're just dead on the board, right? Yeah, all right. I guess I'm bringing in Serenity too, because we need to beat Leyline of the Void. So bring that in. I don't know, let's cut a Looting, Exhume. All right, run it back. What is this hand doing? We do not have a reanimation spell in the hand, so we can't keep it. All right, Molt. All right, we've got looting away the Atraxa and Exhume it, and we have Serenity with Faithless Looting, so this is keepable. I need to keep Serenity / Wear Tear, one of the two, in order to beat Leyline. So keep and put away. Serenity also blows up Fable and Chrome Mox, so unless they have literally double Leyline of the Void, I think this is fine. So let's put that back. All right, will they reveal a Leyline? Opponent mulls to 5. Opponent mulls to 4. No Leyline. All right, so let's go. I guess I'm looting, and then if they have Fairy Macabre, oh well. So fetch, Badlands, Faithless Looting, discard Atraxa, discard. I guess Serenity isn't relevant at this point, probably. All right, discard this, and then let's try to reanimate Atraxa. Reanimate Atraxa. Do they have Fairy Macabre? They do not. All right, Atraxa, trigger. So let's see. Grief is our creature. Serenity is our enchantment. We have Entomb and Dark Ritual as instants. Unmask Sorcery. So let's take Unmask. Here's the land. And then do I want Ritual or Entomb? I guess Entomb, right? All right, so that's done. And then I should probably Grief or Unmask them right now. All right, so Grief. All right, they're just conceding to that. All right, round number 3. On the draw for round 3. No lands, so mull this. Okay, Entomb plus Reanimate plus multiple Thoughtseize effects is fine. We put a land back. Ancient Tomb. Grim Monolith. All right, we're comboing. Mono Brown combo. Cast another Grim Monolith. Then fizzles the remaining mana, okay? All right, well, I guess I should definitely Thoughtseize them. So fetch, Badlands, Thoughtseize. What do you got? Gamble and Defense Grid. Well, I guess I'm taking Gamble. I don't really care if they play Defense Grid. So take Gamble and then just pass. Volcanic, Defense Grid, Lotus Petal. All right, they have a lot of mana. Yeah, so let's just go Entomb, Reanimate. So fetch, grab another Badlands, cast Entomb. What's the best creature to get here? Probably Gristlebrand. Although if I get Gristlebrand, then I reanimate it, then I can only activate it one time. What's the fastest way they die, right? Archon puts them to 13. It's a 2-turn. Anything's a 2-turn clock, right? It's probably they're a combo deck. I probably don't need to worry about Bolt off the top, so I should just grab Gristlebrand and then try to draw into more stuff. All right, so Gristlebrand, Reanimate. Gristlebrand comes out. Oh, I go to 1, not 2. All right, well, draw some cards. Cast Lotus Petal. Interesting. All right, I have nothing really else to do here. I could Looting, and then if I hit exactly Lotus Petal plus Dark Ritual, then I can put Atraxa into play. I guess that's the best bet, right? Give them the least amount of time to draw into outs. Well, we drew a Dark Ritual, but not a Lotus Petal, so let's just discard both Atraxas. And then back over to them. We have to discard the fetch land to hand size. All right, what did they draw off the top? Blue Manifold Key. All right, that's fine. So land, go to combat, swing with Gristlebrand. They go to 9, we go to 8. And then let's Exhume Atraxa out of the yard. Atraxa, trigger. All right, they're untapping Grim Monolith, sure. Unfortunately, we have nothing that is actually going to do anything at instant speed to them, and we can't kill them this turn. So Archon, land, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Animate Dead, Reanimate. Done. Cast Lotus Petal. Then, I mean, they're dead next turn unless they combo. I guess I may as well get Archon into play. I guess technically I could kill them if I somehow, like, if I bring Atraxa back and find, like, multiple other Archons or something. So let's go Dark Ritual, and then let's Dark Ritual again. Cast Animate Dead, targeting Atraxa. And then we'll keep the one that doesn't have Animate Dead on it, I guess. So Atraxa trigger, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, what else? Looting, creature doesn't matter, troll, I guess. land. Done. And that thing fizzles out. Play another Petal. Cast another Dark Ritual. I could also draw with Gristlebrand. I would have to reanimate all 3 Archons in order to kill them this turn, but I may as well go for it. Even getting 2 would make them unable to tap Ancient Tomb, which could matter. So activate Gristlebrand. Boom, boom, boom. Cast Ritual. Cast Entomb. Put Archon into the graveyard. Then animate Dead on Archon. Trigger, Archon trigger. Cast Lotus Petal. Am I missing one of them? Oh, no, I have both of them in my hand. So let's Faithless Looting. Discard the Archons. And then animate Dead and Archon. Trigger, trigger. Am I 1 off from being able to get the last one? Because I only have Reanimate and I can't cast it without dying. And I can't activate Gristlebrand because I'm exactly at 7. We've been through 3 Lotus Petals. No, we've been through all our Lotus Petals and all of our rituals, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. So even if I draw more cards, in order to flashback Faithless Looting, I'd have to spend all the floating mana plus Lotus Petal, which would mean that I would only have 1 mana left, and then Reanimate will kill us if we use it. So therefore, I should just pass at this point. Yep. Actually, no. If I can just looting normally, right? Yeah. Okay. So crack for red, looting. All right. There's Exhume. All right. We win. All right. Cast Exhume. Get the last Archon back. Boom. Sideboard. So their mono brown combo, which means Iona is... So they're also blue and red though. So they may have like blue cards that allow that. We saw Gamble as well. So it's possible that by naming a certain color, we can stop them dead. We definitely want Serenity and Wear Tear, Iona, and then what? What am I cutting? So I'm assuming they don't have any creatures. So that makes what? Atraxa not as good. Even though we killed them with Archon that game, it does make Archon usually not as good. Let's cut 1 Gristlebrand, and then I need to cut 3 other cards, right? So let's cut... I assume they just don't have any creatures. That makes Animate Dead worse. It also makes it worse if we animate and then have to Serenity pop the field. Let's cut that. No, let's... What can I trim on? Let's go with Looting, and maybe a Dark Ritual can go? I'm not sure. Or maybe one of these discard effects. Now let's cut an Unmask, and we'll try that. Okay, Wear Tear to deal with their stuff, plus Looting to find things, and we can unmask them if necessary. All right, I'll keep Leyline of the Void. All right. Got our answer to that. Ancient Tomb plays Voltaic Key and then just passes. All right, so Bloodstain, go fetch Badlands, cast Lotus Petal. I want to be able to Wear Tear something if I absolutely have to, but I'm probably just... Actually, you know what? I should just tear the Leyline, right? Just tear the Leyline and then cast Faithless Looting. Yeah, all right, so tear the Leyline, then cast Looting. Still no creatures. I probably don't need Dark Ritual as much. I think I can cut Ritual plus a land. And I don't want to unmask them, so let's just pass. Maybe I'm supposed to unmask them, I'm not sure. City of Traders into the Ring. All right, well, that's a problem. Untap the Ring by exiling Simian Spirit Guide to activate Voltaic Key. All right, well, we certainly got a clock on us right now, so I probably just have to kill this key, right? So that they can't keep drawing more and more cards. So let's fetch. Let's grab another Badlands. Let's blow the key up, and then over to them. Guess I was supposed to unmask their ring. All right, more draws. The thing is, if I had unmasked, that would have left me with no actual action on our side of the board, because I would have had to got rid of Animate Dead. All right, plays Volcanic Island, Burgi. All right, at least I know now that if Iona, I should name red probably. Another Manifold Key. Untap the ring. Yeah, oh, we're so dead. We're just so incredibly dead, right? Gamble. They discarded another Burgi. Untap the ring. More cards. Lion's Eye Diamond. Make a mana off Burgi. Lotus Petal. Another mana off Burgi. Gamble. Discards another ring. Grim Monolith. Making white and red. Casts the Horn. All right, I assume we're just dead here, right? This is just like artifact red Storm, basically, with the ring to just draw a million cards. Discard, 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 discard. So they're discarding everything, and then they have LED mana plus whatever they exile. Oh, they also are an Echo of Aeon's deck. And then here's what they got. Echo, Echoing Truth. Still no actual payoff here, but they do have... Oh, Runehorn Hellkite. Exile this from your graveyard. Each player discards their hand, draws 7. Okay, so it's another thing. Well, Storm, Storm, Storm. They wield, and then they can just horn everything again. I assume they have Grape Shot or something to win the game. So if I Iona naming blue, then they're basically just dead, except for they have like one Otawara that they can use to bounce it. But other than that, well, there's Wish. All right, Wish for what? What's the kill condition here? Boss's Oracle. Okay, sure. Do they have? Oh, they have no cards left in their library. All right. So yeah, if I name blue, I'm probably good, although they might have non-blue answers in their sideboard to creatures, so who knows? Is Surgical Extraction good against them? Is Dothy Voidwalker good against them? Technically, it stops them from wheeling echoes from their graveyard. Should be drawing more cards. Archon's not as useful. All right, I don't think there's any one thing that I can surgical out of their deck, so that's not relevant. So it's more about, is Dothy relevant? They can actually win against an Archon, so probably just cut Archon, and then Dothy is probably relevant. So the question is, what do I cut for it? We've now confirmed that they basically don't have any creatures to reanimate except Bergie, so Exhume, although that's very, very relevant. So Animate Dead, probably better than Exhume. So do I just cut these Exhumes and then maybe Unmask is more relevant than the last Exhume just to take stuff? Or maybe Fluting. The Trolls are not as good. I feel like I'm not supposed to cut them ever because they're kind of pseudo lands, but maybe I do cut them here just because there's not time. All right, let's try that. So on the play for game 3, what do I have? I can go Petal, Unmask, exiling one of my creatures, targeting myself, discard one of the bombs, and then Animate Dead it, which fails if they have Leyline of the Void. And if they have Leyline of the Void, then I just unmask them, but then I'm kind of stone dead here. Well, this hand is a turn 1 Reanimator Gristlebrand, so, I mean, let's go for it. Keep Moles to 5. All right, they do have a Leyline. So, that being the case, I'm just going to unmask them, I guess. Discarding probably Ritual. I don't need Ritual with this hand, unless I get rid of... I could take, like, a Bergie out of their hand and then Animate Dead it, which would be a way to maybe win the game. Let's unmask them and exile Atraxa. Target them... Yeah, exile Atraxa. Gamble, Echo, Lotus Petal. So obviously not... Wow, they just have no mana? Okay, well, do I just take Lotus Petal then? Huh. Yeah, let's take Lotus Petal. Pass. This is definitely going to be a game. All right, they don't do anything. Oh, there's a land. We can't do anything with it. Pass. LED. So they can wheel us? No! I was intentionally not playing Lotus Petals in case like I had to put Serenity onto the board. I guess I should have at least played one of them. All right, let's Ritual in response. And then they wheel us and we lose all of these cards because of Leyline. They drew LED off the top. Jesus. All right, draw. None of that's relevant. So we don't know what's in their hand now. All right, fizzle the mana. We do have a Serenity, although we have to wait a turn for it. Volcanic, Voltaic Key, LED, Mox Opal, Gamble, discards LED. Pitch for 3, another Echo. Yeah. Lose all that stuff. Now we don't have a Serenity anymore. All right, I guess they can't go off this turn. So let's slam Petal into play ASAP. And then I guess I'm just playing Dothy Voidwalker, right? All right, play Dothy. I've got nothing else to do. Over to them. Manifold Key, Ancient Tomb. Looks like they're not doing anything else. All right, let's grief them. And I'm going to evoke it so I can animate dead. Actually, maybe no, I don't do that, right? The only thing I can take from them is Bergie, right? I'm probably going to grief the ring out of their hand and then eat it and then take the ring with Dothy, right? I have to use Petal or no. Okay, let's just Ritual and then cast Grief. This allows me to at least have Wear Tear. So cast Grief, target the opponent. What do they got? Bergie, Simian Spirit Guide. All right, well, and a bunch of lands. And Otawara. So if I animate dead any of their creatures, they just Otawara it back. All right, no, but Dothy's going to exile it, right? So, okay, so I'm not going to Dothy then. So I'm just going to take Bergie, and then let's just attack them with Dothy. Swing with Dothy. I can't imagine that I need to leave Dothy open to, like, dealing with anything. Plays Volcanic. So they have the ability to bounce something with Otawara, or they could just play Simian Spirit Guide as a blocker, although it can't block either of our creatures. All right, Wear Tearing here is fantastic. So I can't actually do anything with that, though. So let's just swing... And then probably on the end step, I'll Wear Tear, get rid of Leyline plus one of these keys. All right, are they going to Otawara at end of turn or not? No. City of Traders plays the ring. All right, definitely responding to that. So fuse these, blow up, Manifold Key and Leyline. White, red, prevent them from having double untaps at least. They don't need to activate that in response because the ring's going to be in the play. So, all right, ring. Draw with ring. All right, we can't respond anymore at this point, so untap ring, draw. Can't even hit them next turn. And that's probably enough to just win the game on its own, right? Unless we immediately find, like, Faithless Looting, a way to put Iona in the graveyard. Although even then it doesn't matter because Otawara bounces it. All right, let the storm begin. Manifold Key, and then they get to untap the ring and draw more cards. What things are voided right now? Burgi, Leyline, Manifold Key, not Echo. Gamble, discarding, Echo of Eons, LED, gamble again, exiling, Simian Spirit Guide, Voltaic Key, the ring. So ring taps again, draws a whole bunch of more cards. All right, so their plan stopped. I guess I'm playing Lotus Petal. Actually, so let's think this through. So they have Otawara in their hand. The only relevant things I can Dothy out are Gamble and Echo. If I Echo, it refills their hand, although who cares? They're drawing 10 million cards off the ring anyway. It does wheel the Otawara away, right? So, because the problem is, so like, let's say I gamble. What am I gambling for? I'm probably gambling for a way to try to put Iona into play, right? But even if I put it into play, it doesn't matter because they just Otawara bounce it to our hand. So that's irrelevant, even if the gamble succeeds. So the alternative is Dothy cast Echo of Eons, which unfortunately does put Echo of Eons into their graveyard, right? Yeah, it puts Echo of Eons into their graveyard because I lose Dothy by doing it. If I just wait, I'm pretty sure they can win on their turn. So I go Dothy, wheel, and then I have no idea what I'm doing after that. I've lost all of my, not all of my, I've lost a bunch of ritual cards. They're untapping with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, another land drop, like a million cards, right? And they have a million untaps with the ring, so we can't wait. We have to do something. I guess, no, so even if I gamble for Serenity, it doesn't go off until next turn anyway, so that's irrelevant. Yeah, so I have to Dothy the Echo. No getting around it. All right, cast. So sack Dothy, choose Echo of Eons. Okay, and then, yeah. I guess, oh no, I can animate Dead the Dothy back before we do anything. All right, yeah, so let's do that. So let's animate Dead back Dothy, and then Echo. Cast the Echo. All right, so it's in their graveyard, so they don't get to do it again. So that's 3 of their Echoes down. And then what can we do? I can't unmask them because shockingly they've ring fogged after, even though it's at 4 counters. So let's see, another Petal. Can't Thoughtseize them. They have nothing in their graveyard because Dothy. Let's make sure to fetch. Then our deck, grab this last land. So yeah, the only thing I can do is cast Looting. So loot. Well, the land's irrelevant, and pretty sure Thoughtseize is irrelevant and Unmask are irrelevant. They're probably just winning on their turn, even if they're not winning on their turn. All right, we have a bunch of redundant reanimation effects, so let's discard Reanimate. I can flashback Looting, but to what end? Find Wear and Tear, and then what? Kill this LED? Who cares? I guess I would reanimate something if I drew it. Yeah, all right, so let's flashback Looting. Well, there's Serenity. I doubt we're going to have a turn for it, though. All right, discard Dothy, discard Unmask, Thoughtseize, one of the two. Discard Unmask. Reanimate on Dothy. Oh no, if I do that, then I don't have white for Serenity next turn, although there is absolutely no way we're going to be able to Serenity and then... So next turn Serenity, then to turn after that, it blows everything up. There's no way, right? There's just no way. There's absolutely no way. So yeah, let's just reanimate this now. Double Dothy. They can't Otawara, both of them, maybe. I don't know. Back over to them. Although they have Echoing Truth in their deck, right? So they can just echo both of them. Ring. 3 untaps. Casts the Horn. They have 12 cards to horn away. So yeah, we're dead. All right, Echoing Truth. Our Dothys go away. And they win. I don't think I need to wait through this. Like, there's no way. They're horning their entire library, right? 24 cards, plus they can draw... Well, I guess they can't draw more if they exile all of this, right? But it doesn't matter. Boom, 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 boom. Exile all of that. Where's Wish? City of Traders. Plays a new ring, and then they can, what? Use the new ring to draw the rest of their deck? Not quite. They have 2 cards left. They can't quite... Oh, no, and then they just horn the rest of them, right? Yeah. Did I miss Wish? Where is it? How are they actually winning this? They have no cards left in their deck, and they have no... Wish castable? Oh, they do have Wish. Oh, it was in their hand, not in their exile pile. All right, and then there comes Oracle. Yeah, all right. On to round 4. All right, we're on the play for round 4. We have no mana in this hand, so that's a mull. Even though if any of these cards were replaced with a land, then it would be great, but we can't. This is significantly worse, like to an incredibly high degree, but I will keep this and put a land back. So let's go fetch a Badlands and loot. Looting. Well, that is going to be great. So discard Atraxa, discard Troll, Cast Petal, Reanimate Atraxa. All right, trigger. Okay, so Animate Dead is our enchantment. We've got, what else? Land. Can I reanimate another creature this turn? I don't think so, right? I just have one Lotus Petal, and that's it. I can take Grief to try to grief my opponent, which is probably correct. Actually, oh, I can double grief them. So I go Grief, Reanimate, and then I go Grief, Exile, Animate Dead, target them. Then I play Lotus Petal, Reanimate, Grief. All right, so done. And then Grief, Animate Dead away. Evoke Solitude, exiling Seasoned Dungeoneer. Okay, so there goes Atraxa. So gain a bunch of life back, and then Grief, trigger. So Boros Initiative, yeah. All right, well, let's take Swords to Plowshares, and then I think I'm just reanimating my Troll to try to kill them before they can find an answer. So yeah, take Swords, then Grief dies, and then let's just Petal, reanimate Troll, and pass to them. They even have Caracas. Yeah, All right, looting. Well, I guess I discard land, Exhume, play a land, go to combat, swing with the Troll, Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Imprint, Simian Spirit Guide, casts Caves of Chaos Adventurer. All right, we do get to steal the initiative from them, and then we can animate dead their Solitude to get rid of it. So we're pretty good here. Gets another land. All right, fetch, Badlands. All right, animate dead on Solitude, and then kill their Caves of Chaos Adventurer, go to combat, swing, then we steal the initiative, and grab a swamp, play a swamp, pass, plains. All right, they're on a no, are they just dead this turn? Forge onto the Solitude, go to combat, swing. I guess they're one off from being dead, right? But then Ancient Tomb can't even tap anymore. All right, cast Faithless Looting, discard Atraxa, Gristlebrand, then Exhume, bring back Gristlebrand, then activate, Caracas it back to our hand, sure. We've played a land for turn. No, I haven't played a land for turn. So play a land. I can Dark Ritual, Entomb Archon, and reanimate it. Okay, Dark Ritual. All right, they've conceded to that. So Boros Initiative. We need the show and tell plan's really bad when our opponent has initiative creatures and Solitude. So probably Wear Tear for ley lines. If I put Iona into play, then their only answers are Caracas, and that's it. Because all their removal is white, although they may also play Touch the Spirit Realm, which they can channel from their hand. So Iona's not necessarily a guaranteed kill. So most of the time, it's probably better to just put Archon into play and immediately get the value. So let's see. That leaves me on Wear Tear. And then maybe I can afford to bring in like 2 show and tells, just in case. Although, I guess if I'm playing around Leyline, then I want Serenity, although they can also have Fairy Macabre or Surgical. Like, there's a million different things that they could have that hit the graveyard. I'm going to assume it's Leyline of the Void and just... Now, show and tell's a good hedge. It gets around any graveyard hate. And then I can cut out, let's see, shave on a bunch of stuff. So, Exhume, Looting, Unmask, and what else? One of our things, like Gristlebrand, maybe? All right, let's try that. So this is a turn 1 reanimate, assuming our opponent doesn't have reanimation spells, or anti-graveyard hate spells, rather. If they do, and if they have Leyline of the Void, I can loot and then try to find more mana. If it's another one like Surgical or Macabre, then we're just so incredibly dead. But again, I don't think I can throw away turn 1 reanimate, so I will keep this. All right, no Leyline. City of Traders. Is it going to be Chalice of the Void? That would be pretty bad. Unlicensed Hearse. Okay. Basically the same concept. Lotus Petal. So Entomb plan is offline, so I just have to looting into more mana. Yeah. All right. Lotus Petal, looting. Well, we found land, so let's see. I can get rid of one of the Archons and one of the reanimation spells, I guess. Play a land. Sucks, because if this was Exhume, we could actually reanimate here. Because we'd go Ritual. We could have discarded 2 creatures and then gone Ritual, Entomb, Exhume, and then they can only get rid of 2 of them. All right, well, it is what it is, so let's pass to them. Eats Archon and looting, of course. Plays Archon of Emeria. Well, that shuts off Dark Ritual. All right. Well, this is going to be pretty tough to get around. We have to draw lands, and we have to draw an answer to the licensed Hearse. Well, pass back to them. Eats the rest with Hearse. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Then attack with Archon. All right. I can grief them, and then nothing else. All right, I guess I'll grief them. Cast this, exiling. Dark Ritual is irrelevant when Archon's in play, so let's get rid of Dark Ritual. Trigger. All right, well, they have Fairy Macabre as well. Pretty sure we're extremely dead here. We're taking what? They're never going to tap out for Hearse, right? So we're taking at least 4 right now. Hearse is also getting really big. They didn't use the ability, so their hands plateau in one other card. All right, so we take 4, go down to 14. Sack the treasure, play another Archon. So then this, at minimum, eats this and is a 7/7. And then they flip the Fable, and then they can use it to crew this, and that is 9, 11, 13 damage, putting us to 1, which means we can't even fetch, which means that we are just dead. Yeah, all right. Well, okay, I definitely want to do the show and tell plan, and if one of their cards is Dothy, or is Unlicensed Hearse and Macabre, then that makes Exhume much better. So let me think. Iona is probably actually good here. And Serenity is also probably good. Also blows up Fable, Chrome Mox, etc. So the question is, we still have to trim a whole bunch, so what are we trimming? I don't really like the Troll, because I don't think reanimating this matters, although it's kind of taking up some of our land slots. So I think I can trim 1 Troll. Dark Ritual's obviously worse in the face of the Archon, but I guess my plan is to just not let them take a turn, which means that anything that lets me win on turn 1 is just so much better than anything else. All right, I'm going to cut the Trolls, and then, man, after that, I don't know what. Like, we need these to get our reanimation plan out. I guess it's just shaving a bunch of stuff, right? So shave an Animate Dead, shave a Looting, a Ritual. No, not a Ritual. Shave some Unmask, Thoughtseize, shave. I want as many bombs as I can if I'm going to do show and tell. All right, I don't need as many reanimation spells if I'm running show and tell, right? I guess let's try that. All right, turn 1, Entomb, Reanimate. If that fails, because they have Fairy, Macabre, or Leyline, then man, does his hand get so much worse. Basically, if they have Fairy, Macabre, this just bricks, right? And then we're in such a worse position. All right, I'll keep it. Opponent mulls to 6. What's the best card to grab? Probably just Gristlebrand, right? All right, no Leyline, so we're dead to Fairy, Macabre, but what can you do? Fetch, Underground Sea, cast Petal, Entomb, put Gristlebrand in the graveyard, and try to reanimate it. This is the card that's most, okay, yeah, they have Fairy, Macabre. Oh, well. So this fails, and then we don't have the mana to even cast Serenity if we need it. So over to them. Plains, Lotus Petal, crack that. Play Archon of Emeria by exiling Simian Spirit Guide. All right, it's not so bad. Animate Dead, but there's nothing to get back other than a Fairy, Macabre, so let's just play a land and pass. So we don't have much, they don't have much. All right, well, Ancient Tomb is them having more. All right, Polluted Delta, and still not really able to do anything, so pass back to them. They attack us with the Archon. All right, let's fetch Badlands now. And then we can fetch a basic swamp if we need to. All right, well, still really nothing going on. So play a swamp and pass to them. They attack with Archon. We go to 12. I do like how all the Archon's abilities are old but stapled together on one card, and it's surprisingly awful to deal with. Yeah, I think this card's fine. All right, let's go fetch another Badlands. All right, there's Entomb. I can't cast 2 spells in the same turn, so I may as well Entomb on their turn. There's no reason to do it now, right? So just pass to them. So the best creature to get's probably Archon of Cruelty in this scenario. Maybe it's Iona. All right, end of turn, cast Entomb. And let's put another... Is it Archon or Atraxa? So Archon kills this off, and then... So if they have... Basically, they could have Solitude, right? Let's assume it comes back. Then they don't have Fairy Macabre. They could have Solitude to answer it. So is it better to draw a bunch of cards with Atraxa rather than Archon this way? Probably. If I grab Iona and their only answer is Solitude, then that's better for winning the game. It's probably better to just draw cards, though, so let's put Atraxa in the yard. Then untap. There's another Entomb. All right, Animate Dead on Atraxa. Does this resolve? Flashes in Containment Priest. And they've just been waiting on that the whole time, eh? Or they just drew it. Yep, Containment Priest. Then this fails. Can I choose not to bring it back to leave it in the yard? I can't, can I? Yep. All right, over to them. So my only out now is to either naturally draw into a bomb or to entomb another thing and then naturally draw into a reanimation spell. So if I entomb for a Faithless Looting, I can't loot and show and tell on the same turn, so that doesn't matter. So I should just go get Atraxa again, right? Or Archon. Oh wait, no, because Containment Priest is in play, right? So I can't cast multiple spells a turn. I'm definitely casting Entomb. I have 1 turn to loot into a bomb, right? So I should put looting in the yard. Yeah, so put looting in the yard. Draw Exhume. That doesn't matter. So let's flashback looting. Okay, well, these cards, none of these cards do anything. I only have 1 more turn, so Serenity is irrelevant. And casting a Grief is also irrelevant because I'm going to go to 1 and this has flying anyway. Show and telling a Grief in doesn't matter either. Yeah, it's all right. Just get rid of these. Over to them. They really did board in 3 different hate cards. Yeah, Storm. Well, Archon's not too bad. Archon actually is not doing anything. Archon only just stops like turns where you go like ritual into a thing, into a thing, into a thing, etc. All right, we have to draw a bomb right now, and that bomb has to be not Iona. Nope, we're dead. All right. No, the actual problems was Fairy Macabre and Containment Priest. On to the 5th and final round. And Hearst, yeah, but Hearst, Fairy Macabre, and Containment Priest are all just different versions of Graveyard Hate. I guess they all operate differently. One's an artifact, one's a creature, one's a pitch from your hand spell. All right, well, we're on the 5th and final round, and we're not doing good at all. We are on the draw. We can, what? Underground Sea, then Troll, Cycle, grab a Badlands, and then the following turn we still can't reanimate, although we can animate dead the Troll. This hand's slow, but I think fine. And I have Unmasked to potentially take my opponent's stuff. Plains. All right, another Plains deck. Well, that makes animating the Troll a lot worse. All right, Grief makes doing that a lot better. So let's see. I'm going to Grief them, exiling Unmask. So cast Grief, exile Unmask. Triggers, swords it in response. Yeah, all right, sure, that's fine. Huh. Paths of the Dead. Enter, choose a creature type, add colorless, add 1/1 of any color, spend only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, and that spell can't be... Oh, it's Cavern Souls. It's just an alt treatment for Cavern. So Cavernous Soul, so it's blue-white humans? How bad's Meddling Mage here? They can't even cast Brainstorm, right? Wait, so their hand is a Cavern of Souls, no second land, no blue source for Brains... Oh, wait, no, they have a Plains in play. So, let's see. I don't care at all about Watcher for tomorrow. That's fine. So, I guess I'm going to take Meddling Mage. Oh, they're a Yori on deck, too. What? Wait, what? All right, Underground Sea. The best move here is probably Entombing, because that way, if I naturally draw another land, I can just animate dead it back to hand. And if I don't, then I just Cycle Troll, grab Badlands, cast Faithless Looting. I don't think I need to Thoughtseize either of these. All right, so let's just pass to them. So, Cavern of Souls, name human, right? Wizard. Oh, are these both wizards as well? Cast Watcher, sure. Hideaway. All right, end of turn, cast Entomb. Let's see. Gristlebrand's probably the best thing to have on the board. So Gristlebrand and Lotus Petal. All right, cast Lotus Petal. Animate dead on Gristlebrand. Animate dead. All right, they've conceded to that. So it's blue-white wizards. So they may just have Force of Will and that type of effect. I have no idea what other Graveyard Hate they're going to have. So rather than try to play the Artifact Enchantment Hate cards that I don't even know if they're going to be effective, let's just board into Show and Tell. And then Iona on white also seems decent, although probably just better to get a bunch of value cards. So let's cut, I don't even know what, just shave a bunch of stuff, bring in Show and Tells, shaving. I'm assuming most of their creatures are like small dinky things and therefore Animate Dead's not as valuable. Shaving, what else? An Unmask and a Looting. All right, let's go with that. Submit. I can go turn 1, Unmask myself, Reanimate Archon. Obviously, if they have Force of Will, that's awful, but other than that, it's also not great if they have Swords to Plowshares either, but I'm not gonna shut this down. I can also Thoughtseize them first, potentially, and then see what they have, and then try to do something next turn, depending on what I draw. So, Flooded Strand. All right. It is just so risky to do that. So now that I have another Unmasked target, I'm just gonna Thoughtseize them first. So, Swamp, Thoughtseize. Like, a turn 2 Archon is fine as well. They're fetching in response. Do they have Daze? Tundra. Brainstorm. All right, so it's the search for Force of Will / Daze or hide your spells. Step through Venser, Harmonic Prodigy, Swords, Brainstorm. Alrighty then, I guess I'm just taking Swords because that's the thing that best answers my stuff. All right, take the Swords and pass. Arid Mesa. All right, well, ooh, Entomb. Okay, so now I can Unmask and then Entomb. They have another Brainstorm, but, you know, what can you do? Let's go land, fetch, grab a Badlands. Then let's Unmask and exile Archon. They didn't Brainstorm this time. Oh, they have Force of Will. Okay, well, we have to take that. So Force of Will. I guess let's go for it. Entomb. Opponent Brainstorms in response. Why would you Brainstorm in response to Entomb? Like, it doesn't matter if I Entomb, right? Oh, they just have Force of Will. They're forcing the Entomb rather than forcing the Reanimate. All right. They exiled Step Through. Well, can't do anything else, so pass over to them. So Jeskai Wizards. Fetches Volcanic. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't even play Harmonic Prodigy. Well, we're continuing to not do anything, so let's just pass back to them. Cavern of Souls. Naming Wizard. Green. No. Puts Yorion in hand. Alright, well, let's just fetch Underground Sea, I guess. They're one away from even just having Venser. Another Reanimate. Well, can't do anything. Pass to them. Yikes. Harmonic Prodigy into Venser, bounce your 2 things is just so bad. Lotus Petal. Alright, cast Lotus Petal. Over to them. No, they're not doing anything. And still not doing anything. All right, play a land, go. No, just not doing anything. All right. Not even playing the Harmonic Prodigy or like anything. Deep Gnome Terramancer. Whenever one or more lands enter the battlefield under an opponent's control without being played. All right, well, fetch and response. Grab another Badlands. So it planes tutors to the field if your opponent fetches, basically. Attacking with the gnome. Very well, we go to 13. So at any point they can Venser us, so that's okay. Well, there's finally Faithless Looting, so Faithless Looting. All right, cool. Discard both the Atraxas. So, okay, exiling Grief here is terrible because then they just Venser the Grief back to our hand. So let's just reanimate first and see what they do. Reanimate. They just allowed it to happen. Okay, Atraxa trigger. All right, what do I want? Lotus Petal for the artifact. One of the lands, it doesn't matter which one. And then I already have a Grief, so let's Archon. So the only question is, do I want Show and Tell? Or I probably don't want Show and Tell, right? Although the second Reanimate's dead in the hand right now, right? So I actually do need a way to just cheat stuff into place. So let's grab Show and Tell. And then that leaves Dark Ritual as my last spell. Okay, so done. So let's cast another Lotus Petal. And let's see, what is the next best thing? Reanimating at this point is really bad because I can't actually reanimate anything without dying. So if I evoke Grief, I assume they're just going to Venser and bounce either itself or Atraxa into my hand, but I guess I just have to force the issue. So let's cast Grief, exiling. Actually, is Entomb even worth it at this point? Let's just get rid of Entomb, I think, and then I can just reanimate the Grief, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, get rid of Entomb, cast Grief. It resolved. All right, target you. What do you got? Swords, Baron, Venser. Well, I don't care if they swords anything. So let's just take... So if I take Venser, they can't respond to Show and Tell. And then I Show and Tell, and then they can put in either Baron or Yorion. But I still get the Archon trigger regardless. So let's take Venser. Then Grief dies. So I'm going to reanimate Grief. So let's Dark Ritual here. Dark Ritual, reanimate Grief, trigger. So again, I'm at low life, so I don't care if they swords. They're brainstorming in response. So the biggest problem would be if they put in like Harmonic and then like double Baron our creatures next turn. I'd still get an Archon trigger regardless. All right, what do you got in your hand now? Twinning Twins. I guess I have to take Flusterstorm, right? Or else the Show and Tell's not going to resolve. Exile target non-token creature. Return it to the battlefield under its own control at the beginning of the next end step. So I got to take Flusterstorm. All right, so, and they're potentially drawing Swords and Yorion. So this is what's in their hand right now, these bottom three. So then let's cast Show and Tell. Blue, these two black sources. Show and Tell, put Archon into play. What are they putting into play? Presumably Baron. Yeah, Baron. Bouncing Atraxa. Okay, then Archon trigger resolves. They're losing the Deep Gnome, and they discarded Surgical. We drew Gristlebrand. So now they have Twinning Twins in their hand, and they're going to draw one of these two cards. All right, pass to them. Fetches. I guess they're not drawing these two. So their hand's Twinning Twins, and then they're drawing a random card. Can you fetch to force a shuffle? In regards to what? Twinning Twins, blink Baron, comes back. I assume it bounces Archon to my hand. And then this is Flying Vigilance, Ward 1, and is a 4/4. Okay. Caracas. Ooh. Well, I can still get Archon back. What's in my graveyard? Atraxa. So cast the Twinning Twins. Yep. Yeah, why not attack here? Block. All right, what are we drawing? Lotus Petal. Let's flashback looting. So this one, and this one. All right, we got Show and Tell, so we're good. Discard these two. Fetch. We have a fetchable land, right? We have one swamp left. Show and Tell, blue, this one. Put Archon back into play, trigger. We drew Reanimate. I can't reanimate any of my own stuff. If I reanimate something of theirs, what am I reanimating? Twinning Twins, I don't care. Although I guess they're dead in one hit. They're almost dead in one hit just off the Archon, though. What's the best thing to hit them with? Basically, if I don't reanimate now, I'm giving them 2 turns to draw an answer to Archon. Nah, it's fine. Let's just pass. All right. So we won 2 and 3. It should have been 3 and 2, but I punted the first match. So, I mean, yeah, that's Reanimator. Like, you know, what is there to say? You get hard wrecked by Graveyard Hate, and it's sometimes hard to predict what Graveyard Hate they're going to have. Show and Tell plan helps to some degree to get around that, although it can be detrimental if your opponent's also playing big permanents that have value, especially if those permanents answer your creatures. Other than that, the sideboarding I'm not exactly sure on. I assume you're supposed to mostly just shave stuff. and that if you bring in Show and Tell, you can afford to cut some amount of Reanimator cards. Other than that, pretty straightforward combo deck.